even though I'm a royal family with long-standing traditions. And you're also involved as one of the leader takers in this current event, youth conference on values, European values, U-turn for Europe. What is your assessment of the current state of Europe and the European Union?
Well, first I have to correct you. We were kicked out of the royal family because my great-grandfather married only a countess.
Well, thank you for that clarification, Rudi.
And that's why I'm called we are called Hьохенберg. Yeah, my role in U-turn of Europe, I was told the honor of being custodian of this movement, and I think it's a very good movement with a very good name, because I think Europe needs a U-turn, because we're going in a way that is more in direction of as I call it, EMU-SFR, like a Stasi-like state.
The Bulgarian audience will relate to it.
Same can imagine. The bureaucrats in Brussels are not really docile to the supranational topics that they should restrain themselves. And you have a supranational government, all it for supranational topics. They want to make a European state out of it, infiltrating into every little details of every state, compliant rules, very many financial supports for those who comply, and bend the knee for those who do not. You get a lot of fines and which I think is the wrong way. Sure, many people think it's the wrong way. I think the big advantage of Europe is that we have so many different countries, many different cultures, attitudes, and ways of tackling problems, and we can learn from each other. And the national government perseverance. And we're not take up with little detail.
Yeah, recently in Bulgaria, there was a law case where the court in Luxembourg basically violated their own law, European law, and mandated transgenderism for internal affairs of the Bulgarian the system, where actually the Constitution and the Supreme Court had decided that sex is only biological. Yeah, they were able to recommend transgenderism change of the laws of it. So that's one specific example on law.
Yeah,
on what you talk about.
There's a saying in I think it comes from America, that we don't live in a states of law, but in states of lawyers. And these international jurisdiction and courts come from a good idea, but they are misused.
And as a lawyer, I can tell that this is done by splitting the juridical hair, unnecessarily manipulating the laws.
Yeah,
that's what they're doing.
And you can see that the Otago, the European centuries are basically, the nation state is basically brutally diluted. Yeah. Much more so than, for example, in America, where the states are much more.
Yeah.
The distinction between the federal law and the state laws are much more than in Europe.
At least that's where the way goes.
Yeah. Do you envision an alternative to the European Union type of mild tyranny that we are facing right now in terms of Central European nations? How do you see the future?
I think we have this example of the Austrian monarchy, that I'm not saying that we should go back to a monarchy, but the structure of the Austrian monarchy was that the government in Vienna restricted itself to certain supranational topics, that is defense, the infrastructure, schools and tracks for trains and telegraphy and all that. Foreign policy and the balance of those three, and that was it. And the countries had all their own governments and their own constitutions, etc. The story that the monarchy was, the national jail and so on, came much later and came from outside, from inside. Even Masaryk, who was then the first president of Czechoslovakia after the First World War, still during the First World War said that Czechoslovakia would never be able to stand alone. So this lie of the Nationenkerker, the national jails, was coming from outside. And of course, Austria and Germany were very successful with this strategy. And I think this is an alternative because Austria reigned like that for many hundred years, and Europe, the way it goes, it's not gonna last that long.
Yeah. So it's probably something like that, but maybe it's including more countries, because we know of the Central European project that also considers Greece, Bulgaria, Romania, Italy, maybe Serbia to participate in some form of cooperation.
Yes, definitely. You mean to defend these laws and these
values,
yeah.
Or just form some alternative alliance that will be meaningful.
Yeah.
Well, let's say foreign policy, the other.
Because I think really these compliance rules and these laws that infiltrate or lose the national sovereignty of the countries in Europe has gone very far. That's so why people vote against the parties that are ruling nowadays. Also that they fight.
Well, that's always the problem with bureaucracy. If you have a constantly bureaucratic, a huge bureaucratic apparatus, you have to justify the existence.
It's a system that kind of feeds itself.
Exactly. It's like all over the world. It's not only, but Bulgarians also can relate to that because it is kind of communism, and even now just
the influence it here makes it.
at the same time, the European Union had some form of kind of like revitalizing his nationalist feelings in Bulgaria. And in brooding I see in the courts of Bulgaria now freedom of speech being upheld more so than it was before. While we see a totally different tendency, just the opposite in Western European countries.
Yeah, there is a trend. You can see the time
Yeah.
that people are not satisfied in the way it goes, and that's why they vote against the system. They don't vote so much for something, but against something. Feel bad, and we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, and in the end, like, do you have a message for the Bulgarian politicians and for the Bulgarian people that you want to convey?
I mean, I think it is very important, not only for Bulgaria, generally for especially the former East Bloc countries in Central Europe who have this experience, the dictatorship, is that they take that knowledge and prevent something like that happening again by strengthening their constitutions and in not complying with everything that comes from Brussels if it does not comply with their ideas of issues. I think that Europe, Gloria von Taxis also said that the Eastern European countries are going to save the Western European countries from their delusion or their utopian ideologies, because they know that this doesn't work and they've been there. They don't want to have an EU, the SSR anymore.
I'm sure the Bulgarian politicians may not necessarily understand all you're saying, but the Bulgarian people will, for sure. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much, me.